Good morning, it is Monday, Chavtes, Shvat, Tovshin Ayin Tes. The Shiur is dedicated to the Refuah Shlema Ukreva of Yirmiyahu ben Rus. We are in Teres Menachem Sefer HaMamorim Tovshin Yud Gimel, in the Mamar of Yud Beis Tammuz Tovshin Yud Gimel, Dibra Maschil, Leman Daas, on page Kuf Tzadik Dalid, Ois Ches, chapter 8. The Rebbe has just finished explaining the fourth and final level, Al Ha'oretz Mitachas, in explaining how Havayahu Elikim, Hashem's revealing force, giving force, and Hashem's withholding force, regulating force, contracting force, denoted respectively in Hashem's names Yud Kei Vav Kei and Elikim, are one and the same in all the four levels of Shamayim, Mimal, Al Ha'oretz, and Ha'oretz Mitachas. Shamayim being Atzilus, the world of emanation, Shamayim Mimal being those levels that are beyond Atzilus, beyond the realm of emanation. Oretz referring to Bia, Bri Yitzir Asiyah, the realms of creation, formation, and action. And Al Oretz Mitachas referring to even lower than Bia, Klipis and Sitra Achra, the shell, and those aspects that oppose Kedusha, holiness and godliness. And in each of those four levels, Havayahu Elikim, Hashem's revealing force, denoted in Hashem's name Yud Kei Vav Kei, and Hashem's withholding force, known as denoted in Hashem's name Elikim, are one. The Maimer began on the pasuk Leman Daas Kol Amei Ha'oretz Ki Havayahu Elikim Ein Oid, that all the nations of the world, of the earth, of the world, should know that Havaya is Elikim. Havaya and Elikim are one and the same. Ein Oid, and there is none else. So now, the Rebbe comes back to the original question that he asked at the outset of the Maimer, with even greater depth, or with even greater strength. In other words, the question becomes even stronger. Chapter 8, page Kuf Tzadik Daled, Valpiz Etzarech Lahavin, based on the explanations above in the last 7 chapters. We need to understand Masha Kosov, that which the verse states, the verse upon which this Maimer is based, on which the opening verse of this Maimer, of this discourse. It says, Leman Daas Kol Amei Ha'oretz, so all the nations of the world should know Ki Havayahu Elikim, that Havaya is Elikim, that Yud Kei Vav Kei is Elikim, meaning to say that Yud Kei Vav Kei and Elikim are one. Based on the explanations above in this matter of Havaya is Elikim, and in even more detail in all the four aspects of the heavens and the heavens above, the earth and the earth below, how is it possible to say concerning this, Leman Daas Kol Amei Ha'oretz, that all the nations of the world should know this. Shekol Zeh Yaveh B'Yediyah, the Amei Ha'oretz, that all this should come into the knowledge, should be known, should become known to the nations of the earth. It's not a simple concept. Question number 1. Question number 2, V'gam Tzarech Lahavin, we also need to understand Masha HaKosov Meisif, that which the verse adds, U'Mesayim, and concludes, Ein Oid, there is none else. What's the addition? What's the problem? The L'chura, it would seem, top of page Kuf Tzadik Hey, L'achre Masha Nemer Ki Havayahu Elikim, once we say that Havaya is Elikim, that the Hashem's power denoted in Hashem Havaya, the revealing force, and Hashem's power denoted in Hashem Elikim, the withholding force. Once we say that, we establish that that's the case, that Havaya is Elikim, that they're both the same, in all the four aspects of the heavens and heavens above, the earth and the earth below. What does the verse add when he says there is none else? It seems that he's covered all the bases, that in all levels, in every aspect of existence, of creation and of existence, Havaya is Elikim. So if that's the case, then there is none else. What's the addition? Ein Oid. He's covered everything. Atzilus, beyond Atzilus, Bia, even Klippus and Sitra Achra. It's all Havaya and Elikim. And Havaya and Elikim is all one. So what's the addition? Ein Eid. Those are the two questions. Says the Rebbe, however, this is the explanation, says the Rebbe. The Mash and his boy in the Il Inyan Havaya Hu Elikim. The explanations above in this matter of Havaya is Elikim. Hu biur vehezber vehechacha. It's an explanation, and it's a proof. Sheyesh shayches bin ha'eres v'akelim b'havaya v'elikim. What is the sum total of what was explained? That there is an association, there is a connection between the giving force, the lights, the revealing force, and the kelim, the withholding force, the regulating force, denoted in Hashem's names, Havaya v'elikim. To be more clear, that they don't work at cross purposes. The light, the giving force, the revealing force needs the vessel, the regulating force. And the vessel needs the regulating force, the withholding force needs the revealing force, the light. Where? In the world of emanation, which is denoted in the verse in the word Bashamayim in the heavens. So too also beyond Atzilus, beyond the world of emanation, which is denoted in the verse in the words Bashamayim Mimal, the heavens above the heavens. What is that? That is B'Sheirish HaEris V'Sheirish HaKelim. Beyond Atzilus, beyond the world of emanation, we're talking about the root from where the lights come and the root from where the vessels come. Another way of saying it is Pnimius Ratzon V'Chetzenius Ratzon, the inner aspect of Hashem's desire, and the external aspect of Hashem's desire, as explained at length above. Ukmeikim Ba'elim is Biyad. The Rebbe is giving a summary. So too in the realms of Bri Yitzir Asiyah, creation, formation, and action, denoted in the words, in the verse, in the words Al Ha'aretz. Over there we're talking about B'Hashayches D'Ruchnis V'Gashmis, the connection and the association between spirituality and physicality. And even lower, even as it plays out in the existence of the shells and those that are opposed, the other side of Kedusha, the other side of holiness and godliness, denoted in the verse, in the words, Al ha'aretz mitachas, below the earth. How so? How are they the same? As the Rebbe said earlier in chapter 7, through having existence that opposes godliness, that reveals Hashem's ability, Hashem's faculty of strength and contraction. Hein gvuroisov, they express Hashem's gvura, Hashem's strength, that He tolerates even something that's opposed to Kedusha, Kanal Barucha, as explained earlier at length. So this is what the explanation above tells us. That at each of these levels, Havaya Elikim, in other words, or to be more clear, that Havaya needs Elikim and Elikim needs Havaya. That the revealing force needs the withholding and regulating force, and vice versa. However, it's not sufficient to explain the true meaning, as it were, of Havaya Hu Elikim, that Havaya is Elikim. What does Havaya Hu Elikim mean? Havaya is Elikim. Doesn't mean Havaya needs Elikim. And converse, and the other way around also, vice versa, Elikim needs Havaya. It means Havaya Hu Elikim. It means Havaya is Elikim, that they're actually one. Because the explanation above, Sharei Sof Kol Sof, based on the above explanation, it's not actually total oneness, that they're all one. It means that the needs the Keli needs the Gili needs the regulation, the revelation needs to be regulated in order to fulfill its function. And the regulators need the revelation for their existence as well. Or in another sense, the regulators are not there to conceal, they're there to allow the to fulfill the revelation, to fulfill its function, etc., etc. But this is a distinct revealing force, and this is a distinct withholding, regulating force. It's not kul echad, it's one. You're explaining how they need each other. They can't exist without each other. But how are they truly one kul echad? Havaya hu elikim means Havaya is elikim.
Are we saying that they? We know we talk that Havaya comes before elikim, and it's on a higher level than elikim. And elikim is a way of really descending down, creating physicality or whatever. So if you're saying they're equal, it's different to what I've understood before.
The way the Rebbe was
equal in their source, that's what you're saying.
Barzu. That's how the Rebbe explains it. The Rebbe is going to explain indeed that you're in the right direction. The Rebbe is going to go back to the source. Let's put it this way, Akiva. If you look at the beginning, the opening of the first chapter of the Mamar, going back to page Kuf Pei Daled, right? The way the Rebbe articulated the pnimius dike pirush, the internal meaning, the inner meaning of the pasuk, based on the Zohar. If you remember, he brought the pasuk v'yadayit hayoyim b'ashavesel avavecha kehavayahu lekim b'shamayim v'mal v'lasm tachas. He said that one of the first mitzvahs that the Yidden were commanded was leida shavaya v'lekim kulo chad. They're all one. He used that language, all one. In fact, we don't even have to go to the inner meaning of the pasuk. Let's translate the simple words. Leman Daas kol amayoretz. All the nations of the world shall know. Ki havaya hu elikim. What does it mean? Ki havaya hu elikim. That havaya is elikim. That's what the verse is saying. It's not saying.
But not saying Elohim is havaya.
Okay, so you know what?
It's not equal. Like
if you say havaya hu elikim, what does that mean? If Havaya is Elikim, then Elikim is Havaya. The taich of the word, the translation of the words Ki Havaya hu Elikim means Havaya is Elikim. What does that mean? That they're not two separate forces. They're one and the same. How so? Says the Rebbe. You know what? I'll even go along with you.
They can be in series or parallel. That's the question.
Explain. What do you mean?
That one follows the other as an extension, or they come parallel down together.
That doesn't mean Ki Havaya hu Elikim. That's not the definition of Havaya hu Elikim.
It depends, because one is a manifestation of the other. So it is that, because it is that in its source. Where all you
Hang on. Let's not go to the source. Let's talk about Chesed and Gvura. Talk about Chesed and Gvura. Chesed and Gvura are one and the same. You could say that there are elements of Chesed and Gvura, there are elements of Gvura and Chesed, and so on and so forth, but it's not the same. They're not one and the same. Indeed, that's why this is Havaya and this is Elikim. How are they different? The pasuk has to come and tell us that Havaya hu Elikim. Why so? Because it's not the same. So the Rebbe said, okay, I gave you a beautiful explanation in the most profound way that they each need each other. Okay, that doesn't mean Havaya hu Elikim. It means that they don't work at cross purposes. They complement each other. They need each other.
Even in your analogy of man and woman, we know that for Torah, Adam was created before Chava.
Varzu!
But
Adam was created before Chava.
Priority in terms of, not of emphasis or action or revealing, but in terms of sequencing. Are we saying that...
Granted, no, I agree with you. But that doesn't mean that Havaya is Elikim. That's the question.
So there is still some type of sequence of revelation. That one is coming before the other. It gives a rise to the other, and they come down. They manifest as equal, but there's still some type of series.
Let's see what the Rebbe explains. In the levels that we discussed up until now, they are two distinct forces that need each other in one way or another. Complement each other. Don't work at cross purposes. They're there to.
I understand. That's the mechanism.
But, and that's why you're right in a certain sense. You say Havaya hu Elikim because they're not working at cross purposes. What would mean Havaya is not Elikim? If it's there to conceal, that's why he had to work very hard to explain how Klip and Sitra Achra is also Havaya hu Elikim. But that's in the secondary interpretation. It's like you're humoring the words. You would interpret Havaya hu Elikim as meaning that Havaya needs Elikim, and Elikim doesn't work at a cross purpose with Havaya. Okay, but that's not this. Havaya hu Elikim really and truly means that they're one and the same. How so? So for that we have to go a little further and higher. Let's see what the Rebbe says. So the first question is, they're not the same. They're two distinct forces. V'yisera mizu, even more so. Being that, so far as one reason is concerned, one explanation is concerned, they are opposites. How are they opposites? The name Havaya, what is it? It is the idea of bestowing flow without limit. And the name Elikim is the concept of contraction and limitation complete to the extreme. Right? You're explaining to me how they need each other. But if in a certain sense, when you want to say Hashpa bli gvul, you want to give it a name. Bestowal of flow without limit. What comes to mind? What do you use? You use the name Havaya. When you want to say constriction in the extreme, concealment in the extreme, what do you use? The name Elikim. If that's the case, how is it possible that they should both become tied one to another? That's what the pasuk adds when it says Ein Oid, there is none else. What is that a reference to? Here you go. Shemilvad atzmus ein shum davar. That's the operative word here. Atzmus. Besides the essence of Hashem, there is nothing. Really and truly, the only thing that exists is what? The essence of Hashem. From this it will be understood. This will also give us an understanding in the concept of Havaya Ulekim, which are already the revelation levels, those levels that are, so to speak, lower than Atzmos, that follow Atzmos. That the sins, because so far as Atzmos is concerned, really and truly Ein Oid, it's true Ein Oid, there is nothing else. Therefore, in the lower levels as well, we will understand Havaya Ulekim Kol Echad, that it's all one and the same. Another couple of lines. Huh? Stop here? Finished. Okay. So, if you want to know...
I understand that is...
Unfortunately, this time of the day, I'm thinking about my 9 o'clock patient.
Verstehe ich? Das du hast eine Zimtzum Schenken bei you.
That's the problem.
You're up to Elikim mit der Bein der Almakula. Darfst Megala sein Atzmus.
Beginning of working towards 9 o'clock.